Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
We've seen Lone Druid banned a lot, but it hasn't actually been banned yet by VGJ. Are they actually going to dip into reserve time to think about the Lone Druid ban? Is it going to be a Wisp? Is it going to be Invoker? What?
I mean, it's understandable as well. I think,
yeah.
you know, whether they ban it 1 or 2, obviously not really mattering, but...
We saw in the second game today already, Liquid's not afraid to pick it up in the first 2, and they won with it. And
they would love to have it.
Yeah, so first phase ban, that's okay.
I do like the respect kind of ban from Liquid, you know, taking out the Magnus. Obviously didn't win the game for VGJ, but I mean, TK showing us how good he is at finding the position to get those huge RPs, and as we've seen before, they do have the flexibility with it.
Liquid has a huge draft advantage.
My goodness. How are you gonna do Lone Druid?
They might change things up though.
They could, but they know if they don't pick it now, they're not gonna get it.
Centaur might be a first pick too, because they might be testing to see if VGJ are actually willing to pick up Wisp in the first round.
Remaining.
They might be able to pick up something great and then Wisp.
Yep.
Why not?
Sure,
5 seconds remaining.
Only Kuro knows.
But Liquid have first pick, which I think is highly advantageous in this particular matchup.
Oh, you're
bang
going.
on, man.
They're gonna go for this.
You don't have to pick the Wisp, because VGJ, like, are they going to play Wisp? Maybe.
Yep.
It might be like what we saw with TNC with the Wisp. I know FY can play it, but...
I mean, I hope we don't see what we saw with TNC and the Wisp.
But it's the same thing where they're cornered into picking it when they don't really want to pick it. So
Right.
you want to give
10
away
seconds
Centaur,
remaining.
which they probably expected a Wisp first pick, and maybe they wanted some like Timber Cell strat,
5
but
seconds
instead they might get
remaining.
Centaur and Wisp, and you're like, oh god, we just got boned in the first phase of the draft,
Yeah.
which kind of looks like it might have already happened.
I've never been more stressed out in a draft before. I
is.
feel like I'm on that team. Jeez.
It is. So now what do VG want to do? I still think Timber is really good. Timber is really good at dealing with Centaur, and it's really good at dealing with a Wisp. I think you can actually first phase it in this particular game. What else have we seen a lot? We've seen a lot of Rubik. I don't know. I mean, there's other supports, but I think you need to take a more contested hero that actually does.
Heyo!
All right,
Liquid's
they've
turn
had
to
the storm
pick.
banned out against them every single time in the second phase.
Yep.
They want freeze on that storm.
That's dangerous though. First phasing a storm.
Oh, yeah.
There's, oh man, it's rough.
I mean, who's
10
your hard
seconds
storm
remaining.
counters that we've seen so far? We did see DC try to pull out a anti-mage
5
against that. That didn't
seconds
work out too
remaining.
good.
That did not work out that well. I think you could shut him down in the lane pretty hard.
If you're Team Liquid, do you give priority to picking up a storm counter?
There it is.
Or
Radiant
to
team
pick
ban.
up the IO, I was going to say, but there's your answer. There's my answer, even.
That's rough.
That
it's also
is
interesting
very
that Slaughter has been ignored, right? Slaughter,
Yes.
we said sell Slaughter game 3, and now
Uh-huh.
he's just like, yeah, who cares about Slaughter?
It was a poor man's Centaur. Now you have the real thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is rough.
Radiant team ban.
All right.
Now
Counters
go
to the Storm Spirit need to be banned out.
Nyx is already banned out, so that's one thing that Vici are pretty happy about.
Yeah.
Roots
They banned out
generally pretty
Ember.
good.
Yeah. With the roots.
I feel like
10 seconds remaining.
I wonder if Liquid are gonna ban out Aggressive's Life Stealer, because
5 seconds
that looks really
remaining.
good this game. I feel for VGJ.
Yep, Lifestealer Bomb.
You're already able
certainly.
to chomp down on a couple of strength
Reserve
heroes.
time.
These two ain't gonna do anything through Rage.
I
You've
still
got
think
the,
Timber's stronger.
got the delivery material with a Storm
Yeah,
Spirit.
that is actually very, very scary.
Life Stealer would be incredibly tasty for VGJ.
I'm gonna predict maybe a Weaver. Pretty angry against that Wisp. Could put in a little pressure
Yeah.
there.
Aggressive Weaver. We have seen it before with success as well. They still feel very squishy then, though, on the side of VGJ.
Sure, yeah. Very good point.
You have to worry about protecting your Storm Spirit, though. Keeper of Light is not that good at protecting the Storm. He's really good in the mid game, but you have a Wisp +1. We've seen Ember Spirits just get completely out of control in the middle lane. What other heroes can actually do very well versus the Storm Spirit in the mid? You might have to like draft an Ogre or something to protect him in mid. But Ogres, Ogre plus Storms does not seem super good.
No, a Life Stealer ban from
Radiant
Liquid.
team
Incredibly sensible. Very, very likely VGJ would have taken that.
Is he Tiny too, actually? I like Tiny versus the Storm, and the Keeper has a lot of burst and is very good in the lane early. But
They stick with the Warlock. It's really is their comfort hero.
Yeah, and he is a classic kind of counter initiation to the Wisp drop-in, so...
Yeah.
I feel like already the Warlock's better. I guess, yeah. I feel a little more comfortable with the Warlock being picked up with this lineup than, you know, in the previous game.
10 seconds.
Sure, yeah. And Rubik gonna come out too. Oh no! The two Rubik Masters going at it one more time, head-to-head. This time, though, other team?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be the God tier that we were seeing last time? Cheaper doesn't think so.
It's no, I'm pulling a frowny face because
10 seconds.
GH or sorry, FY, 2-letter names. FY in the game we saw him being the absolute FY god that we're used to seeing from him. His team helped him a lot to make that happen, and he was playing out of his mind. There were a lot of amazing spells to steal already.
Yep.
And FY is just that kind of playmaker. Kuroki is really good at Rubik as well, and he is definitely also at the top for me. But GH is more the playmaker.
Sure, of course. And his Rubik is a lot less flashy, you know?
Yes.
I've seen a lot of games where FY is doing these amazing things, everyone's taking clips and showing their friends, but he still loses. Whereas Kuro's style is more support the team, be there for them, and let them go ahead, so...
They need an ROTK hero. I don't actually know if ROTK can play Timber.
I wonder if they're kind of tempted to fall back into the Abyssal Underlord.
Oh.
Yeah, Abyssal Underlord is decent.
Even though again, it's... ROTK hasn't really shown off with the hero this LAN. It's not been the game winner.
I would like it, actually. I was just about to say.
It's VGJ's comfort, but I feel it's just been underwhelming this LAN.
Well, the one time that it did work out, this was an extremely similar draft. It might have even been the same draft. I mean, they went Underlord into Fatal Bond's Warlock. He just got it off over and over again, and then a huge burst from Storm Spirit. He has a lot to work with here. I think that it could really work out this game.
5 seconds remaining.
It better work out for VGJ because otherwise this is their last game in the tournament.
Well, you know what? They got here by spamming Underlord, and
I guess so.
By damn it, they can go out with spamming Underlord. Let it begin as it ended.
Liquid now need to reveal core. Anti-mage, I think, is just awful versus Underlord, and it didn't really work out for DC. I doubt that they're going to go for it.
Hello, Necro! Oh,
right.
that is one spooky-looking Necro.
We have seen Necrophos once before, but only on the banning side against an IO as well. I think it was against Team Liquid earlier today for TNC.
Let's take a look at the rates here. Woo! 53%, a lot of kills, but remember, those are kills with his ultimate, so half of them are stolen, right?
Remaining.
So, yeah, I mean, he does provide a lot. Somebody trying to get out of there, you can just insta-kill him there. Storm Spirit, a little bit of lockdown with his ult, and then some burst damage coming out as well, but...
I mean, it's so good with the IO, you know, the boosted heal and then the tether, the heals for days. It's an incredibly good lane sustain.
Their late game is just awful, though.
I mean, who do you imagine will play the Necro? Do you think it will be Matu playing the Necro? It doesn't really strike me as hero the Miracle play, unless they want to do a dual lane mid.
I think Matu is
more likely.
Yeah, more likely. But at the same time, then you need a right clicker in the mid. There's not that many good ones. TA is like, okay. I don't know. I don't really like it with their lineup too much.
Good old-fashioned Shadow Fiend.
Shadow Fiend is good. Shadow Fiend I like a lot more with the Wisp. OD is also like okay, but
they have the luxury of knowing that they're going to go up against the Storm.
Yeah, they don't have that much lockdown though. Maybe Necrophos is like their Atos carrier that they want to deal with the Storm. We talked about a lot about like how you want to draft a lot of roots. They banned the most common one, Ember Spirit. CM won't fit in their lineup because they already have 2 supports. So maybe going for the fast Atos on Necrophos would be the counter that they're looking for. He gets owned by Mana Leak though. Ugh, Mana Leak on Necrophos.
Yeah.
Nightmare. You have a Wisp, I guess it's pretty decent.
No, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Mana Leak's rough on a lot of heroes.
He's got to be mobile, and then to be able to get rid of that Mana Leak, what do you want to get, like a Lotus Orb on Necrophos? I mean, that doesn't get you anything.
Okay.
Greaves.
Yeah.
Greaves are always good.
Lincoln's is not bad.
Yeah, why not? Okay, OD's going to be taken out here. Excited to see what our last ban is.
Team Liquid hadn't used much of their bonus time yet up until now.
No, I think you want a Diffusal carrier. Diffusal is just amazingly good versus Necrophos. But there's not that many ones left. Juggernaut, I guess, being the main one. Naga Siren also being one.
Bro. The pocket pick. In fact, the master of the pocket. The pocket Ricky, Diffusal carrier, Agnum Scepter, and a Storm Spirit.
I don't think aggressive is that adventurous. Maybe I think Liquid would be more likely to pick up a Riki, but especially versus a Storm. But
Sure.
I like that you're seriously entertaining the idea.
yo,
Thank
Riki
you.
is a thing.
Especially with Storm, man.
His talent is actually pretty good for the carry Riki.
It's
His
the
talents
thing
are good.
when Dogfights is playing.
Yes.
This is
10
not a team where
seconds
Dogfights is on.
No, but
No.
hey, I mean,
Hey, if it's gonna get picked, you'll look like a god.
oh my
There
There you
goodness.
go.
Insta invited. All right, next.
Liquid's
We're
turn
gonna
to
see
pick.
Drow Ranger knocked out there. Nobody likes playing against
Anti-mage.
Drow. And they're actually gonna
Oh,
go
Drow
for the
Ranger.
anti-mage.
Anti-mage is really rough versus the root from Underlord, though.
Oh my goodness, a very
But-
risky maneuver.
And they
Fair.
take the Terrorblade themselves, VGJ.
That is bold, going back for the AM.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
out late game them last game, though, so that certainly has boosted their
Whew,
confidence.
sure, but even like when DC picked anti-mage, that was the anti-mage game. It was the perfect anti-mage game, and they still got handed. Yep. They got destroyed. Anti-mage into a Underlord that is so good with the pit.
Liquid's a better team than DC right now, though. I think they
Damn.
can actually utilize the timing of the AM
All
a lot
right.
better.
Gentlemen, I need a team name from you guys. Are we gonna have a game 5 or? is
I
it
don't
gonna be
believe in
Liquid
the
show?
anti-mage pick, but I believe in Liquid to find a way to make it work. Let's go Team Liquid.
I'm also going to go with Liquid. Necrophos is strange, AM is strange. They know something better that we don't.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Liquid take this. I think Anti-Mage and the Necrophos are going to do
seconds
some
remaining.
pretty nasty things to the Storm Spirit this game.
You guys, all on the
5
same page.
seconds remaining.
I hope that our commentators are maybe a little bit less, less Liquid favored, perhaps a little bit more even there. On the commentator desk, it is over to Lyrical and God.
Thank you very much, Sheever and the panel. Gods, you had some choice words when you saw the draft.
Look, I gotta disagree with this, pal. I'm not sold on this AM Necro mid, I guess, from Matu maybe. I don't know. Is AM going mid even? He's got Poor Man Shield. This is, I don't know. TB is a great last pick. You get a Diffusal carrier to deal with the Ghost Shroud on Necro. It's to hear that you get Reflection on Anti-Mage. Great. It is cool to see Miracle, you know, when he first came out, broke into the pro scene, this was like one of his, it was this and Invoker. These were his two heroes on the early OG days, back when he and No-Tail used to swap roles, so it's cool to see him go back to it, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, you know, you think about it, how he got his first 9K was originally with the Anti-Mage, the team
yeah.
full of 9Ks. Maybe it's a little something going together here. It does look like they're going to be going for a big smoke play into the Radiant jungle.
30 seconds
They're
to
certainly
battle.
going to need to pull out all the stops here to take this one. I guess, what is it about this game that's at least might have made it that Liquid wanted to take the Anti-Mage in the first place?
There's a storm. There is a storm, and there's very little lockdown. The Underlord, the pit is pretty nice, but the supports, the Coddle, and the Warlock do not scare Anti-Mage at all. If anything, these are heroes that are food for Anti-Mage.
The
So between the
battle
supports being
begins.
food and AM being one of the best counters to the Storm Spirit, good Anti-Mage game, but we've seen good Anti-Mage games, as the panel mentioned, so doesn't necessarily translate into a win. And even though Liquid have proven to be a better team than DC currently at this event, definitely have my doubts, but if this laning stage goes well, AM could get off to a good start. It looks like it will be. 4-man gank mid. What is happening? Liquid.
Well,
They got 3 heroes
apparently
ready to gank.
they have Miracle, who's going to be playing Anti-Mage in the mid lane. They were saying in the other room that this is something that they like to do a lot, is put him in the mid whenever possible on his AM. They're going to be able to go after Storm Spirit, and First Blood going to be drawn by Miracle. He said that he kept on asking for it, and now he gets it.
Casual quad lane mid at level 1. This Storm's just like, probably like, what the hell just happened? Doesn't hurt you too. It doesn't actually hurt this Storm that much. He just insta TPs back in, misses a tiny bit of CS and experience maybe, but it helps Miracle immensely. The First Blood was even picked up by him, so that is the ideal start for an Anti-Mage mid. Not an easy matchup for an Anti-Mage by any means. Even with the IO's help, you can't really go too aggressive into the Remnant.
Already looking at it, the CS is actually pretty heavily right now into the favor of VGJ. Granted, only the first couple of minutes, and I imagine some of that was because they went for that 4-man gank mid.
I definitely feel like the, wow, Kuro at top. He just telekinesis down the neutral to stop the Illuminate getting the last hit, but Cuddle still gets it. But yeah, the lanes to me favor VG Gaming if they can help protect Freeze. Yeah, I like the rotation. I feel like Warlock's going to need to babysit him a bit. The IO presence with the bottle regen means AM can constantly get up in Freeze's face. Storm will likely have to pull back into the jungle fairly early on as well. So won't be an easy lane by any means, and
Wow, that is just some hate thrown there. Mind control constantly getting right-clicked in the top lane. Illuminate spam. Kuroki already had to go back to base. You have 11 and 5 on your Terrorblade right now compared to the 5 and 1 of the Necro. You're not kidding. This has not been the strongest of laning stages for Liquid.
The TB to the off lane is definitely the right call, but Necro has done well, like 1v1 bottom. This is the lane that Liquid's looking to win with Matu down there, but you're not really contesting the farm of the carry that you were perhaps hoping to contest. So the ROTK hold his own. As long as Terrorblade's free farming, you're generally pretty happy with the laning stage if you're in VG's shoes.
So this is a sort of interesting moment as well. We've seen Terrorblades get out of control in this tournament. This is a last pick Terrorblade as taking a good bit of damage now onto Freeze. He's actually out of mana, and with the added movement speed, this could be a kill. Freeze already brought low, Miracle already on top of him, and they kill him again.
Doesn't buy the bottle, goes for the boots instead. I think he didn't have money, so he wanted to just save, make sure he spent everything before he died. And also the boots first to me makes more sense than the bottle first because of that aggression that we just saw. So rough mid lane, and the lane that a Warlock's in behind is not going to necessarily help that much. So he just needs to be playing more defensively. And I think falling back in the jungle is not something to be ashamed of. Except you cannot lane against a melee hero mid of Storm because there's an IO there. That's totally acceptable, assuming you can farm it up in the jungle. So at some point we may just see Freeze ditch this lane, and I feel it would be the right call.
So do you think that this anti-mage build would transition into anything else, like maybe a more active fighting style that we've occasionally seen, or do you think he just goes the natural Battle Fury?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that 9K game. He did go for a Vanguard Mantic build, I believe. He didn't go for the Battle Fury that game, so it is a build Miracle has gone for before and kind of likes to do. And if you want to talk about countering, using the hero to counter Storm, you don't need the Battle Fury to counter Storm. It's the Manta Illusion setting up the Mana Void that do that best, so could well be the idea from Miracle. I guess Necro and Centaur have some lane push. They're definitely not bad at pushing out lane, so it is feasible to not go for the Battle Fury this game. Just depends how dominant Liquid feel they can be in the mid game, because that means your AM is just not going to scale or farm quite as well into the lane.
We did see at one point, I think, what was it? I can't quite remember what the build was, but basically you ended up just draining away all the mana and constantly fighting with them consistently. In the meantime, the other thing to think about is this Terrorblade. How do you deal with the illusions? As I said earlier, you get out of control with this hero on occasion as another jump in on top of the Storm. Freeze out of mana yet again, and not even going to be able to kill off GH.
Oh, the treads timing. Miracle gets his treads, instantly calls for the gank, goes aggressive, gets the kill, and yep, mid lane disaster. They almost feel all too prepared for this Storm Spirit pick. They need to try and make up for this elsewhere in the other lanes. The TB free farming is nice and all, but at some point they want to start thinking, how do we get objectives with Metamorph? How do we use this? How do we kill someone like Matu? Matu in the off-lane Necrophos is getting a decent amount of farm. He's not really seen all too much help, at least initially in this lane, yet still being able to get away with a lot of aggression. Even now, contesting the pulls, coming in, getting XP, getting some last hits. Very well-played Necrophos so far from him.
Is that a Midas that he's going back for now as well? Okay, he's going back for the treads. That makes a lot of sense.
Up.
Well, in the meantime, aggressive heading off over here as well. We'll be picking up eventually the Aquila, probably looking to try and pressure early, I would imagine, with this lineup. And of course, we've seen Underlord time and again go for those 5-man rotations, just lane to lane to lane. I feel like that's the way they want to go.
They know he's there with that ward. Actually, didn't notice that ward till now, but a really good ward to shut down the Storm jungle.
Level 6, but no mana. They do have the Mana Void, though, and thinking about popping it now onto Freeze. They take him down. Kuroki finishes off the kill. But, well, ROTK there as well. They're just going to push him back.
He's got no pitch.
That doesn't... Kuro's just out. Like, they bring in 3 heroes to try and save the Storm Speeder, or at least find a counter kill, and it's just not going to happen.
They haven't even used their shrine. That's how much they've dominated mid. Typically, you'd see a shrine used in the first 5 or 6 minutes, but nope, only now, 6 minutes in after getting that kill. Diving a T2 tower at that, do they shrine up? And this ward, giving vision of those 2 Storm jungle camps means Freeze is not going to be able to just jungle his way back into this game as easily. He can use the camps by the secret shop, but he'll probably find himself dying fairly soon again if he's not careful in that jungle area until he realizes there's a ward down there.
Well, it looks like VGJ have had enough. It's time to pressure this top tower. They pop Metamorphosis, gonna be able to get the right clicks off, and Mind Control can't really stop it.
Definitely feels like a a spell they want to be using almost off cooldown. Just farming
Dire's top tower
alone is not
has
enough.
fallen.
TP needs to create space at this point for the Storm Spirit.
Well, Fenrir are going to get dove, and again, it's just going to be consistently GH on this IO, enabling all of these heroes to go way more aggro than they would have otherwise.
I mean, Matu has that regen from the kill. Oh, he should be scared maybe.
Well, he's still getting healed back up by GH, yeah, and they will be able to walk out
He even
again.
used the Ghost Shroud, so he's really pushing the limits of this hero. Those metamorphoses will wear off fairly soon, and yeah, fully healed up without even having the Ghost Shroud.
I guess the one thing you might need to be a little bit concerned about right now for Liquid is that Mind Control hasn't had the best game. You can see sort of on the net worth there. It's been a little bit hampered in by the heavy pressure that he's been feeling.
Yeah, he's not going to have a good timing on his blink, but you're hoping that AM can maybe just aggressively farm and push some of these lanes, soak up attention. Matu the entire game has been trying to create space for his team. Just the position he's been in, diving towers, going for pulls, taking up 2-3 heroes' attention. He wants to create space, he's just being ignored. But the end result is that we've got a very farm Necrophos now. And I think that's an acceptable position to be in.
Well, Storm Spirit going to jump in, try and make something happen, but he is actually in some trouble. Man, that's a lot of damage.
Feels like this is a Storm that needs to try and gank and be aggressive more so than he needs to try and farm, because if he farms, he's getting ganked, he's getting pressured by AM, so getting kills on heroes like Io and Rubik is going to be a good way into this game for him, but he's going to find those kills.
Well, they've been in a good position over and over again, and it's come to the tune of a 5-0 start. Liquid not giving up a kill while taking many in return. And I'm kind of wondering now, you know, your Storm Spirit's been hampered in really heavily. I mean, does anti-mage just sort of take over this game at this point?
Jeez, he got that Ancient. That one Ancient with the Spirit Ball.
Oh, man.
Yeah, AM, he's going to go for the Manta, so wants to make sure there's more of a late game plan, not just all in on the early game with some kind of Vanguard Manta build. RTK will escape top with a casual Dark Rift out, but there's no real good answer to this anti-mage, and that is a definite concern. Storm likes to get the kill on GH, he's committing deep for it.
That was a lot used. Kuro is trying to help out, but wasn't able to be enough. So they do find a kill onto GH, but it's feeling not really as happy as the claps might suggest.
Does perhaps set them up to get this tier 1 mid tower. They've already thrown the Metamorphosis out thinking they need it for the kill, but Io already respawning. Could well see Liquid defend this one.
Yeah, but Tumbleman not afraid, just gonna walk right in. They pop the Stampede as well. The Pit of Malice gonna keep control for the moment, but they've already used that Reaper's Sight. He's gone for a long time now. Aggressive already dead. Fenrir gone as well. They're gonna chase down ROTK, who is just gonna get ran down by Miracle here. Consistently with the right clicks, the Spirit's hitting him in the face as well as he tries to escape. No Darker for 70 seconds. And he's just gone again.
Such good play. Necrophos works so well against the TB. It's hard to get those good Sunders off when Reaper's ever up, because that just secures the kill. You use it when he gets low, when he's looking to Sunder, that's what you save the Reaper for. And Liquid feeling very comfortable. Matu has gone back for the Midas after the treads now, and that's definitely a sign that things are going well for them when they feel like they're kind of their space creating core in some ways is going for a Midas. Like Center at this point, it can't create too much space until he has a blink. AM wants to farm a Battle Fury, but AM's also fighting. We've been seeing Miracle get very involved early on, 4-0 and 1. He's going to have Battle Fury in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Things keep up at this rate.
Yeah, it just feels like it's, again, that IO, the added movement speed. They chase heroes down. VGJ don't really have the heroes to go for counterplays yet. Like, you need that Warlock to not only have level 6, but also be in position for it to be able to be dropped down. So you can see right now the net worth graph very heavily sinking again into the favor of Team Liquid.
Liquid's just done a really good job of exploiting the lack of help that these Vici supports can give on the mid lane. The side lanes were fine for Vici. They were CSing well, they were farming well, but they don't have good supports to secure mid lane with. And as a result, the IO anti-mage has taken over this game. GH's IO has just been fantastic all tournament long. Definitely one of the breakout players as far as 2017 goes so far, and Liquid are happy to probably just slow roll this game. They don't need to go for any aggressive maneuvers. Until they have a blink on Sentinel, they don't really have the best ganking setups, and I imagine they're just happy to play a slow-paced farming game now with the Anti-Mage's Battle Fury coming online, the Midas on Necrophos giving him a good steady stream of farm as well as level progression, maybe wait for that level 2 ultimate, so it's just definitely a tempo favoring Liquid quite heavily at that.
And we're seeing Aggressive go back for the Dragon Lance as well. There was a little bit of time where Terrorblades were sort of consistently going for the Manta style and then immediately into the Scotty, trying to get big items up. What does this sort of tell you about the way that VGJ want to take their games, or just the general play style that they've been using?
I want to go more early game. I think they realize right now they're playing a losing game with AM farming, Centaur's Blink coming soon. They're not really doing a whole lot. They want to smoke up, get aggressive, make some plays happen, and that's what they're going to do now. Aggressive, as far as carry plays goes, is a carry that wants to fight more than he wants to farm, so he'll be looking to smoke up with his team with Metamorphosis, and they see how low this bottom tier 1 tower is, and I think recognize that there will be a move down here by Liquid, so they're looking to contest this. GH needs to be very careful. He's actually low and a Storm could catch him, despite the haste route.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of an awkward movement, because Liquid did see the movement over as the smoke gank was spotted, and now Matumba Man in some trouble. They are going to be able to go on top of him, and it looks like they're going to focus the IO. Tethers away. What? Are you kidding me, GH? They dropped the rock as well, but he's just walking away. Oh man, from bad to worse, trying to find the kill. They do get it with the Firestorm, but that's a hell of a lot for an IO.
Yeah, Storm canceled the relocate out with the pull, but even at the tether escape, that was such a big commitment. Meanwhile, AM free farm in the jungle. He's got his Battle Fury, Sentinel's getting his Blink, and they get another kill. Matu's just so tanky. He's still got 1 charges and Ghost Shroud to protect himself. He is such a good hero to have to just defend the tower by himself at that. EB's already saying, we can't get another tower. This Necros is going to be my undoing. You can't rely on Sunder, as we've seen, and he TP's mid just to get some more farm.
And the Blink Dagger now ready to be revealed for Mind Control. IO responds pretty quickly, and it's going to be there to help these guys out if they want to go for initiation.
Really feels like VG Gaming are going to have a very small window where they're strong and can 5-man push. They have Mech on Underlord, that is there. The Ags on the Coddle is probably the other big one to look out for.
Oh, scan it, spots him. They know he's down here. RTK, they're going to check the spot, seeing if they can finish him off. A lot of damage coming in. They drop the Reaper Sight. That's going to be enough. They find that kill.
Before he's out.
Oh, and they stole Dark Rift.
Interesting. Sure, that's a good steal.
Is under attack.
No reason it's not a good steal.
Okay.
See what they can get done with it. But yeah, Coddle's Axe is going to be very early. It looks like FY's played a very... He's got the same net worth as like Storm at this point. Although I think that speaks more to Storm Spirit's game than FY's game. But it will be a fast Ags on Coddle. And like you think of TB pushing with all his illusions with the Coddle heal. That's a very strong 5-man push. So perhaps around the Manta style timing of TB, VG Gaming's 5-man push is scary. But they've got to get there without losing too much.
Well, Kuro going to use the Dark Rift now, trying to escape, and does still have the lift he wants to use it. Actually ends up canceling it looks like, and just going to be able to walk away.
Okay.
All right.
Sedation, I guess. And also, again, soaking up space, bringing all the heroes bottom. AM is kind of more in carry AM mode at this time. No longer the let's dominate the lanes and win mid AM mode. With the Battle Fury complete, he'll go back for a Manta. He's going to get this well before Storm has any kind of an Orchid. It used to be this kind of like race to Orchid for a Storm against AM. This is also back when Storms would sometimes go Orchid before Bloodstone, where you could gank the AM pre-Manta, but there is no way in hell Orchid's coming before a Manta this game, so Miracle is going to be in prime position to fight. And the key thing is here they have a strong Initiator and Sentinel, so anytime that 5-man push tries to come, you can Blink Stun in with the Manta illusions and just instantly blow up Storm Spirit. There's no good counterplay. Actually, there's a decent counterplay in the Rock, but it's still very tricky because AM isn't going to die to those rocks, so we'll see how Fenrir can use that Chaos offering to help protect his carries against that AM initiation.
Yeah, and also the other big question there is, of course, if he's even going to be in position. These fights have been so chaotic. You've got very mobile heroes in Warlock. Not necessarily the slowest in the world, but he's certainly not the fastest, and only with Brown Boots at this point as well. Nowhere near towards any of those mobility items, so to keep our eye on how these team fights develop, it looks like, at least for now, Coddle pressuring out these lanes with Storm Spirit here as well. They can help enable the freeze Storm Spirit maybe a little bit more by giving him some more mana there or going for recall plays, but it's going to need to come quick.
He's just taking one farm he can. Smoke towards top. VG Gaming have this lane pushed out very deep. The split push at bottom, not too threatening at this point. AM is in the neighborhood, but it looks like they want to force up top.
Oh, Mind Control, big initiation. They find the Coddle right at the start. Gonna bring him down. Storm Spirit trying to at least create some way to get out. But Kuro, they're gonna chase him down. There's the Reaper Sight, slowed up for a moment as well. looks like the Fenrir here, they've already dropped the Golem. Kuro maybe in a little bit of trouble. Freeze is already pretty much out of mana. It does look like they're going to be able to take him down. Now, can they find any more? It does look like he's going to be able to relocate out on 13 HP, and Storm Spirit died to the Mana Void, so you end up losing your Storm and your Coddle for the Io and the Rubik.
They're going to TP out now as well. Centaur's fishing for a stun. Only ROTK remains, but they see him.
Now right click's coming through. They're just going to try and chase this guy down. And, well, there's going to be another chase. The body blocks are in as well. Mind control showing up. Can he get it? A nice blinding light pushback, and that'll dissuade them from going any further.
Will salvage the situation, but another death on Storm Spirit. Unsuccessful tier 2 push. They didn't quite bring down the Necrophos as well. I think Matu was very close to going down with the Ghost Shroud on cooldown. He was fairly low, but all in all, a decent hold by Team Liquid. It only gets easier to hold these towers as Miracle gets his Manta Style, Matu gets an Ag Scepter. This game and these tower defenses will become more and more straightforward. Eevee's Manta is just not really coming fast enough. He has fallen well behind of the anti-mage and even the Necrophos on farm. Let's not get started with Freeze's Storm and how poor he is. He's struggling.
Yeah, it's been a rough one, no doubt about it. Miracle, he sometimes just runs in with anti-mage and right clicks you to death with an IO there. So Coddle has completed his Aghanim Scepter. This is something that's allowed them to be, a little bit more sustainable in the team fights, but it hasn't really been 5-on-5 engagements either.
Yep. This will be nice at daytime. He won't get as caught by surprise by the center initiation. He'll see it coming a lot better with that flying vision. But nighttime is something that they're going to have to play a lot more defensively around. They can use that day vision to prevent Centaur from getting those clean initiations. Things will go a lot better for him. That was really his undoing. He gets hit by a Centaur Sun. At that point, he's just dead. The relocate comes in, and losing Coddle at the start of a fight, you can't afford to lose this Coddle. He's got a lot of farm invested in him. He's the one with the big AoE heal. Need FY to stay alive.
Well, Storm Spirit zip in, that's a little bit off the mark there. Stampede also trying to walk away. He's looking like he's going to be able to get it. The Reaper Sights comes in. Freeze able to escape before Miracle can get on top with the Mana Void, and everybody's fairly low. Fatal Bond's up, but Double Man is going to pop the Ghost Shroud, turns to try and heal up, and they get the Mana Void kill onto Storm and get out with the other two. Don't even lose the IO.
Too aggressive from Freeze. It just feels like he hasn't burst an anti-mage in some time because he should not have fallen back in. Overconfident, perhaps because he got healed up by the Coddle, but the end result was he commits too deep for an IO. They do end up killing the IO on the relocate back in, but this feels like Freeze should have just been counting his blessings. He survived that. He survived the initial Reaper. Once you survive that Reaper, you chill. No need to re-engage for your team. You can slowly secure that tower. They had the tower with the Terrorblade, and see perhaps some of the inexperience of the youngster there. Very tough spot to play in. You're playing your comfort hero, but you're also playing a matchup you probably haven't played in quite some time, and there's all this pressure on you to perform well at your first big LAN, and the end result is that he's being bullied by what is, at this point, an experienced LAN veteran in Miracle.
Yeah, and a killer laner as well. He just completely dismantled him. Not to mention GH, who's also an up and rising young star who's been able to play that supporting role there incredibly well. It does definitely feel like there's been a big disconnect in terms of the way that we know VGJ wanted to take this and the way it's ended up being, as Miracle is now starting to zone in on that Lincoln Sphere next. And once he gets that, I'm hard-pressed to figure out how it is that VGJ are going to take these fights or even try and kill him off.
Yeah, no easy way to do so. If he blinks in, they can just throw AoE spells at him, get him in the Pit of Malice, get him in a Rock Fatal Bonds type combo.
Well, he is going to blink in right now. They drop the rock, all right. Maybe Fatal Bonds. They're going to steal it, turn it back against them. Double kill for Miracle. And now just trying to Dark Rift away. They don't want any more of this. It does look like they are going to be able to get RTK out. But, man, it was rough.
I think the toughest part about fighting at this point, if you're in VG's shoes, is that AM has actually got level 3 ulti. This is such a big boost. It's almost twice the damage from that level 1 ultimate. Fairly short cooldown. It's going to be tough. And this is one of those games where I think anti-mage will be going for that minus 50-second mana void cooldown at level 25. Forget the 25 agi. You just want to be able to spam that ultimate. You've got Storm Spirit, you've got Coddle, you've got Warlock has got the biggest mana pool. Underlord's got a really big mana pool. He's actually a pretty good mana boy target himself. There's some great targets, so having a 20-second cooldown on your ultimate would be fantastic. And I'm talking about level 25 talents at 21 minutes in, but Miracle is already level 20 himself, so very tough to deal with, this anti-mage. And that Lincoln's just about complete.
He's been having himself a hell of a tournament. One of those Ember Spear games we saw like 9-0-2 by 10 minutes or something. He's 8-0-2 in this one, if I'm not mistaken. Just an absolute monster on an AM mid, no less. Granted, it was against the Storm Spirit, but still, not something you end up seeing every day, as he looks like he's going to be pressuring this bottom tier 2 tower mid. Maybe something a brewing, as Matamba Man's just going to punch ROTK in a few times in the face and then back out again. They're just showing no respect at all for... I mean, VGJ can't do anything to stop this.
Well, and Kuro's going to have one more Chaos offering for another team fight too, so if they time their push at around that cooldown, they can have that for about 30-40 seconds before it expires. So we could see another big rock from Kuro to kind of be used as a team fight tool, and Kuro showing that it's not just FY you can play Rubik. FY putting a bit of a show back in Game 1, but Game 1 feels ages away for VG Gaming, who have lost 2 games in a row and have not gotten off to a good start here in Game 4.
And Roche now on the menu as they pile in towards there. Chaotic Offering is still a little ways away for Kuro, if I'm not mistaken. It does also look like VGJ could go in and contest it, possibly. I mean, it's so hard to do, though.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a winning tool there. Rock 15 seconds away, and Kuro knows it. He knows exactly when that cooldown is because he stole the spell, so Aegis will be claimed. Miracle with an Aegis, with the Lincolns. Yeah, he's unkillable. Definitely fair to say.
Well, Basher's next for him, and
oh, man, that's a brutal item to get. Once you get the upgraded Abyssal Blade, anyone you want to kill will be a kill.
Yeah, I mean, we talked earlier about, you know, how do you deal with a Terrorblade once he gets crazy farmed up right now. He's 6 levels behind Miracle, and what is that, 6,000 net worth. I don't think he's going to have too much trouble taking this guy down.
The particularly annoying thing right now is that it's just hit daytime, which is where I imagine the call was from the VG Gaming camp. Let's fight around this daytime. We have Axe Coddle, we have TB. We're not going to be able to keep up and farm with an anti-mage with Battle Fury. We're also not going to scale that well against this Mana Void. Let's go for a smoke and 5-man around daytime, but as it hits day, they've just picked up an Aegis. They got that during nighttime, so don't even think they can make too many aggressive plays while it's daytime because of that Aegis.
Miracle here can just stand under tower. GH is nearby if anybody does happen to jump in. Oh, the other thing is that Freeze is showing mid, so they know that nothing can really happen there. Stampede, they're trying to make it work. They're going to jump in on top of him. Freeze just going to evaporate, and they steal the Pit of Malice. Turn it now against ROTK. They're going to be coming back in onto this aggressive, trying to turn, see if he can take one down. They managed to find a kill. Matamba Man is going to drop, and now Miracle trying to run away. They take down the IO as well. He should be able to blink out of this one unless Freeze is able to chase, but
Freeze
would be
careful.
pretty bold.
That's an anti-mage.
Well, Kuro lift. They've got him on top of it. The stun. Oh, he wanted it so bad, but it just wasn't meant to be. And another Pit of Malice used by Kuro. The second one is going to ensure his death. So Liquid feeding away a couple of kills here. Mind Control does need to get out of this one, and looks like he's going to end up falling. So they take down 4. Some sign of life for VGJ.
This is the power of the Terrorblade. We're seeing there's a lot of pressure on Terrorblade with how hard countered Storm has been. He's lost. Those 2 deaths were Bloodstone. Like the first time, he respawned very quickly to fall back in, but he's down instantly. Picks up his Bloodstone, loses 7 charges. He's down to 5 charges right away. But with the Terrorblade hitting a Diffusal Mantle timing, they get a couple of towers, 4 kills, but Miracle can play the split push game. Very annoying spell, Reflection, though. The more items you get, the more effective Reflection gets against you, and that's definitely one of the key late game tools that VG Gaming have to deal with this anti-mage.
Maybe Team Liquid there just feeling a little bit too in control of the game and end up overextending. It still does feel like we haven't really changed the status quo that much, though.
It was also a very good aggressive call from VG Gaming. The second that relocate went in mid, they jump on top, and yeah, the relocate's going to bring in back in 2 heroes, but Centaur's not going to be there most likely. He can either bring back the Centaur or the Anti-Mage. He wants to bring back the AM, who he's tethered to. But the result is that Necrophos is engaged on and doesn't have the instant protection. So without the IO there, during that like 8-second window, they kill the Necrophos. So by the time the relocate back comes back in, Necro's already dead, and the fight's already looking favorable.
All right, Kuro, they're going to be able to steal Static Remnant, and it looks like that's going to be something excited the crowd. I don't know what it was.
They were just cheering the fact Storm did not die. You know?
He didn't go down.
Yes.
I mean, Aggressive died over by the Ancients, and now Dark Rift, they're going to be able to get out. I
think that's the bigger kill to get. If you kill the Terrorblade, at this point, you'd rather kill him than the Storm with how much of a... He's the big problem this game, the Terrorblade. So a solo kill onto him by Anti-Mage, using the Mana Void, the Manta Basha. TB, I think... I think Anti-Mage's gonna realize, like, I can actually just jump on TB and do the exact same thing, kill him. Level 3 Sunder does have the 0 mana cost, meaning he can, even if he loses mana, can still use it. But with Basher, with Reaper, with Centaur stuns, Rubik Lip, there's a lot of lockdown flying around this Liquid side to guarantee that he doesn't use Sunder.
Well, a little bit of a pause to talk about things, figure out what they need to do, as we have a couple of disconnects, but yeah, it has not been feeling like VGJ have been in control of this game by any stretch of the imagination. Like Freeze going for big zips across the map, occasionally being punished, and occasionally making something happen at the very least. And it feels like that is sort of what they need. So even though we're being maybe a little bit tough on him, it's been a rough game. You sort of have to take those risks at the same token.
It's a very special treatment Liquid gave him. The 4-man level 1 gank, the constant Anti-Mage right-click with IO support. Not a dual lane you verse in pubs as a Storm Spirit player, I imagine. This guy, like a pub star, he came out of the pub scene, and probably mostly a mid player from what I know. Don't imagine many people will send an Anti-Mage mid in a China pub. As much as Liquid proved that it obviously works, it's a very effective way of countering it. The other thing is, not many people play IO in pubs, just because it's such a team 5v5 CM-oriented hero. You're not going to see this hero appear much in pub games, so he's probably just feeling completely out of his element. Like, he overstepped his lane quite a few times, but that's just gonna happen. Like, you play a matchup you've never played before. The first time you play it, you're gonna feed. If he played this match 5 times, probably the 4th and 5th time he's playing it, he's not dying as much. But as a result, Liquid taking advantage of the inexperience there and find themselves pretty decisively ahead. A deciding game at that.
And I mean, it also goes to show how well he has played up to this point, that Liquid have created or at least re-established this strategy to specifically deal with him. They knew that Storm Spirit was something that they would take at some point in time in this match, and they came up with an answer with it. When he was playing previously on eHome Luminous, if I'm not mistaken, the Tier 3 eHome team, and then they brought him up. This was the hero that he spammed even back then. So building up that reputation, it comes with a little bit of special treatment, as you mentioned.
Well, looks like the players will reconnect, so he should be getting back underway soon. I imagine the talk in the VG Gaming camp is a little bit worried at this point.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit.
Their Storm's going straight into a BKB. I don't think we're going to see any aggressive Storm items this game. Like a BKB, maybe even into a Linken's. Perhaps he considers a Hex. Orca is just not going to help against AM. Even the Hex with the Linken's there is kind of suboptimal, so...
Radiant's bottom tower is
boy.
under attack.
AM is almost 25.
Is he going to eat those tomes himself? He just bought 2 tomes.
Yeah, I think he wants his 25.
Okay.
Yeah, this is to get the level 25, just that little bit faster. He's got more. He's going to be very quickly 6-slotted, so money isn't a problem for him. And he's just a fraction of a level short. 1 camp away.
Does also have that Abyssal Blade done, so... I'm excited to see if he does end up going for those minus 50-second time on the Mana Void. I feel like it's just so value in this game.
I think so. There's too many good targets. As much as the Agi sounds nice, 25 Agi is a lot of Agi, but here you go. 25, minus 50-second Mana Void, 20-second cooldown Mana Void. Let the fun begin.
All right, well, let's see it.
Spellcasters be damned.
This is definitely going to be some poppin'. So is it called a dunk if it's a Mana Void? I'm not sure what the terminology is here. So we haven't really seen it that often in pro play, if ever. I don't think we've ever. Maybe we have in some other team, but not often.
Oh yeah, this was like the OG dunker, Anti-Mage, there was the whole come on and slam like music video with Anti-Mage just spamming Mana Void. Oh, me and LD used to spam that all the time, so This is... we need to bring that video back out for this game. It feels like with a 20-second cooldown Mana Void, it's happening.
Get on it, Internet. You hear to hear first. So, Miracle apparently still needs to farm a little bit more before we finish this one off. I mean, it's worth noting that there is still a chance here. VGJ somehow managed to find a wipe. Terrorblade pushes incredibly quickly.
PB is definitely the kind of hero you want to be going late game with against an anti-mage, for the most part. Has a BKB now, so has a good defensive item that he can pop if AM goes on him, so he doesn't get mana voided, ideally. And they've got great high ground defenders. You've got plenty of AoE spam. Underlord Coddle, they can buy time. This game will be dragged out unless Liquid can find some key pickoffs. That's what Miracle's looking for. He's like alone near the enemy tier 3 tower. He's like, who can I blink on? Oh, which one do I want to take today?
This is
Where's
this is
Warlock?
insane. His
Hello,
team
Warlock.
is not there, and he is just going. All right, apparently this is the thing. GH is going to relocate in solo, and well, now maybe looking for some more Miracles. Just going to be pulled back out. Kuro, Glimmer Caped, walking away. That is just instilling fear. This is my game. You will live in it now.
Mana Void's back up. He's ready to go. Come on and slam, Miracle says.
What a statement. You just walk into everybody and blow up your Warlock.
What's gonna kill you, I guess, is the question. There's a Hex being queued up by ROTK, which is, I guess, what could theoretically kill him.
Oh, and a DD rune now for Miracle too.
The other scary is, even if he gets Hex or Gone, there's an Ag Stampede now, so the damage reduction should theoretically be enough to keep him alive against anything.
Well, they might just use the Stampede offensively. They've jumped onto one. There's a quick kill. He's gone.
Yep. That's a gem too. That's not what you want to see for your Coddle.
Oh,
That's why
this
this
is Miracle. Just no fear at all.
He can blink in aggressively and get it if you really want. And
Yep, there he goes. He's just gonna go on top of him. They blow him up. Miracle with no regard for human life.
I thought your base Miracle, but he's making it. He's making a statement. He's ready to blink in again too. Does get hit by the reflection. That reflection is just like he defensively blinks when he gets hit by it. Wants to minimize the damage he does to himself and go back into the high ground once again, trying to take advantage of that reflection cooldown as short as it is.
Certainly Liquid with a chip on their shoulder coming into this tournament after the previous situations going on at LANs and them not being there, proving that they are still one of those top tier teams, most assuredly.
Why gets a Solar Crest, so some evasion to help against that anti-mage initiation. So that's going to be the end-all be-all of saving himself or teammates, though. There's a lot of mist to deal with as an anti-mage. He's queued up the butterfly as his next item, but may even consider something like an MKB when he sees this. I feel like between that and the Blinding Light, MKB could be a decent pickup.
Well, another chance as they just jump on top of Freeze, and well, he's gone yet again. No time even for the relocate. And I gotta say, I cast a good amount of online qualifiers. It's not much louder than it is right now in here. This crowd is completely silenced.
It's two Bloodstone Charged Storm that they've got to back their hopes in. That and the aggressive Terrorblade, but he does not seem able to leave his high ground at this point. So, question now kind of moves to when and how can Liquid break high ground? And it will require, I'd say, consecutive pickoffs. Like they're going to break high ground by doing what Miracle did earlier, blinking into tier 4 towers and killing heroes. Because without heroes dead, you're going to get spammed down, the creep waves are going to die, you're going to get chipped away at, so you do need to go diving for those hero kills, and perhaps that's where the Butterfly is going to be a better pickup than the MKB, because that is the better item for pushing with, and Miracle isn't going to get too much more farmed after that Butterfly, so they won't want this game to drag beyond like the 40-45 minute mark because of that.
Well, you know, you saw right there as well, Daytime getting the extra heals on Terrorblade. They have the Sheep Stick now on Underlord. Okay. If there's a time to make something happen, it feels like it could be now. It's still tough before Aegis.
They got a smoke or anything. Looks like they just... Okay, they've got a smoke on Warlock. They know there's no wards around too, so...
Alright, now Liquid walking into them.
Smoked into them. This could favor Vici Gaming if there ever was a fight to favor them.
They need something out of this. They desperately do. The hook stomp's going to jump in though. Freezes on top of Kuroki. Aggressive pops the BKB. Turns the fight, but they've already taken down FY. And Freeze trying to run away. He's low on mana. Matumba Man continuing the chase. It's on a low cooldown. Aggressive, able to take down the Mind Control Centaur, but Miracle is now on top of him, dealing so much damage. Aggressive is gone, not able to get the Sunder. ROTK able to escape, but that is 3 dead for the Centaur.
If that fight doesn't work, I don't know what fight will work, because that was perhaps about the best case scenario as far as you can get. Warlock hits most people with the Carrick offering Fatal Bonds. Terrorblades with full 10-second BKB, Metamorphosis, can hit whoever he wants, but just can't do enough damage, and losing that fight could result in this game being ended. Oh, ROTK.
Tons of damage there on top of him. Freeze trying to make something of it. Never give up, never surrender. VG Gaming right now is they're trying to stop this pressure in, but the barracks starting to fall. Aggressive is no longer there with Metamorphosis. It's still in a decent amount of damage. They have the Hex on the Miracle. Oh, the Dark Rift are able to push them away. All right, really good play there, and they're now going to be able to take down Miracle. 1,100 gold.
Whoa, buyback check. No buyback. Will this matter, though?
What?
So he committed to the butterfly. VG Gaming don't know his buyback status. That's the big thing to note here. They will probably not want to push because they're like, if we push, we're going to die to an anti-mage buyback. So that's it. But they may also feel like we just got to go push. 40 seconds.
Oh, this is...
Oh, they're going to go Roche. Roche and the theoretical push, though. They've got 65.
It's daytime.
That Hex, the reflection, though. That reflection probably did more damage than anything else.
Well, the blinding light also pushing them away from the Dark Rift from Rubik.
Oh, he lost all of his mana to the reflection illusion and the mana leak plus blinding light. Matu trying to delay Roche, but I don't think you want to try and contest this. Does Mind Control go for a steal or a play here?
And there's a haste turn on Freeze. It does look like they're going to be moving in now. Kuro is smoked. They're going to end up going to the initiation. They find the catch. They push him outside. They're able to take the Aegis onto Freeze, and Aggressive is going to fall, though, so he's gone.
They lost Terrorblade.
No buyback now either, and they're going to try and go for the Dark Rift to pull everybody back in as, well, they leave Freeze alone, only end up taking ROTK back. It's a little bit awkward now as they're going to be able to control Fenrir. Maybe going to drop down the ulti here as well. No, he does get out.
Barely escapes. That was not what they hoped for with a dead anti-mage. That was such a well-timed initiation. Right as Roche was about to go down, they stampede in. Reaper onto the Terrorblade. No escape for him. He's got no buyback, and Liquid know he has no buyback because he used it during that last fight. This may be another lane of Rax. Freeze is up top trying to split push him in. He has got the Aegis, but even with an Aegis, I just don't really see him able to defend all too well.
Now, Sheep on Miracle there. They're trying to take this down, and it's just feeling like it's too much right now. Miracle hitting on the tier 3s. They are looking to finish this game off after a little bit of a kerfuffle going on over there. Miracle dropping down in the mid lane.
They're going to the bottom and top.
Freeze pulls them in. They try and bring them down, but they do have just a ton of sustain in this lineup, and they're actually going to relocate to the bottom. It's a good rock that drops down, and Freeze trying to stay alive through this. He is going to burn through the Aegis. Terrorblade's back up at 30.
It's going to be Mega Creep.
Oh god, a lot of damage, and good game well played. Ends up getting called. Team Liquid end up taking it, the final in a 4-game set. They win the game, potentially guarantee their way through the direct invite to Kiev. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but gods, break it down for me. How do you think they're feeling right now?
It's got to feel good, you know. It's back-to-back LAN wins. They had won a much smaller LAN in the recent Dream League season, but this is the big one. This was competing against teams like OG, VG Gaming, Wings, DC. They're competing against some of the best teams here, so they're going to feel really good. I think more than anything, a sigh of relief, because they've stuck with this roster even though they didn't make it to the recent major, and it's paid off. It's probably secured them a spot at the next major, and now they know they don't have to go through those grueling European qualifiers. So not quite the hype moment for them, because I think they probably knew this game was in the bag for quite some time, so it didn't really have that like nail in the coffin, like huge killing blow, but it was still a fantastic result from Liquid.
Well, there we go, raising up the trophy. I do believe that we're going to be switching over into an interview very shortly. You can see the excitement there, and good shout out as well to VG Gaming.